All right.
All right. Coming up on this episode of Don't Panic, we've got this week's technology news, including the following. Twitch Prime. Find out what video games you can get with your Amazon subscription. Also, Amazon stopping the process of positive reviews for free giveaways and previewing Google's Pixel event. All that plus so much more on this, hopefully audio-filled episode of Don't Panic. This is Don't Panic, episode number 143, recorded October 3rd, 2016, on Twitch Prime, Pixel Previews, and Blackberry's Surrender. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, the internet, and you. I'm Sean Jennings, joined as always by two guys who always coif their hair really well to the side. It's Dan Miller and Colby Ravideau. Folk,
I see you upgraded your intro since the last time.
I felt it was at best like a B- joke. So
the fun fact about I thought the Hurricane Daniel fact was interesting.
Was it?
But, okay.
Was it? Well, I think the hair thing is interesting. I just noticed that you guys got the luscious. You got the
coiffed AF.
Now is that natural or did you put product in there?
I use a little bit of product.
Yeah,
just a smidge.
Yeah.
It gives
what
it
you
some
use a paste or a foam or a gel or a glue or
foam?
A foam? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Foam?
Oh my
god,
mousse. Absolutely.
I think you're thinking of a mousse.
A mousse? Yeah, absolutely. Not to be eaten.
Yeah, no. I use it. I use a gel.
A gel, yeah.
Yeah, it's called a mousse.
I used to use a little paste. Paste was good. Gel was a little greasy for me.
Paste and gel.
But gel holds a little better.
Sure.
Paste is a little looser.
Either way, I only use like my ideal hair scenario. It doesn't look like my hair doesn't look like I have stuff in it.
Right. Well, that's the idea.
I don't typically care for that. So I don't know. The gel I use doesn't, at least in the quantity I use, it does not look like crunchy because I don't particularly care for that. You know?
Yeah. Well, of course, people come to this program for hair care tips.
Oh yeah.
It was actually, well, this is a stupid story, but my mother, unlike some people's mother, my mother never watches any of the shows. But she happened to be on Facebook when Up for Debate was on last week, and we were talking about sandwiches, but for the first 20 minutes or so, we talked about the Magic School Bus and how really horrifying it is if you really think about it, like as an adult. It's terrifying. It was a good bit.
That was a pretty great episode.
It was.
I really enjoyed that one.
Thank you. It was fun, but she of course, she doesn't... She says, "Oh, I saw your show," and of course, she doesn't say, "I thought it was great," or "It was funny," or "You guys are good," or "I appreciate," whatever. No, the first thing she said is, "Why were you talking about Magic School Bus? I thought you were talking about sandwiches." And I'm like, "Oh my god, we never start on topic ever. Like that is our policy. We guarantee it. We will not start on topic." Just like today in
money back guarantee.
A money back guarantee, 100% every single time. Gentlemen, what else is going on? Anything banter worthy?
I got an easily scratchable phone.
Yeah, look at
welcome to the it's future. So shiny.
How scratched is it already?
Well, I just got it today. I don't think there are any scratches on it.
Are you gonna get a case? Or are you gonna?
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe we'll see.
Is it? I've heard that one is not as slippery as the.
It's shocking. Like. I'm holding it very, very loosely right now. It's just barely sliding. It has you should go to the Apple Store and just pick one up because it feels like no other material. So plastic has like this sort of glossy feel to it, and metal is cold. Like you can tell when you're touching metal, and you can tell when you're touching plastic. This feels like both somehow. It feels cold and glossy. Yeah.
That's going to be the name of my autobiography. Cold and glossy.
The Sean Jennings story.
Yes, exactly. You get it. Thank you.
Nice. I like loosely want to go get a phone. One of the new phones. It's not a huge hurry because my iPhone 6 is totally functional. But I do want to do the Apple.
How long does your battery last?
I mean, it lasts a day, usually.
Really?
Mine doesn't.
Yeah.
Mine.
It lasts a day at work, anyways.
But I have.
If I use it the minimum amount, Like if I use it on the train to work and on the train coming home and basically not that much at all at work, I'll make it home with like 15% left.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So I will say one thing I don't know is like I don't take the train during the summer. I bike to work, so I'm not like using my phone during that time. So that's a big unknown. Like once it gets crappy and I start riding the train again, it might be unsustainable. But in any case, I wanted to do the Apple Upgrade program, which you can only do in the store, and the Apple store that's right next to my work is like closed for renovation. So I have to like go somewhere that I wouldn't normally go. And that coupled with the fact that there's like really nothing wrong with my phone right now.
Hashtag first world problems. I can't think of a better application of that than I need to replace my totally functioning, perfectly fine phone, but the Apple store right next to my work is being renovated. I mean, I'll just leave it there.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's forcing me into making a less annoying decision to like not upgrade. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm not upgrading. I decided I'm going to stick with my 6 until next year.
Wow.
The battery, Dan, I am 100%. It's like, it's so weird. 100 to 80%, it's pretty good. And then like from 80 to like 55%, it just burns through like nobody's business. And then it's very weird. But I also have lightning cables. I've just bought them in like pallets. And so literally it's plugged in the morning, in my car on the way to work, at my desk at work, on my car on the way home, at my couch, in my kitchen, literally I've got plugs everywhere. So
the most ironic outcome would be if the next version of the iPhone like switched away from the lightning cable.
No ports at all.
That's true. That's Dan's prediction.
I've got my version of wireless charging, except it involves a lot of wires, but I can charge
It's
it
the
anywhere.
exact opposite of that.
Exactly.
It's like when everyone thought that the homes they needed to build in like 2002 and 2003 needed to have Ethernet ports next to all the power outlets.
Yep.
What a waste of money that
Hey,
was.
look, I still think that's a good idea. I've got Ethernet cables running everywhere because these walls, I don't know what they're made of, but...
Have either of you seen, this is just getting deeper, but have you seen that like Wi-Fi network that's like it's like a mesh thing, so you get like a bunch of small routers and like put them around your house?
Sure, that's the new supposedly Google's going to announce their version at their Pixel event this week.
This has been around forever. What are we talking about?
I mean, like conceptually, it's not new technology. There are just like companies that like market this as the benefit,
and they're a lot prettier, and the software is easier to use, and that kind.
I mean, you don't just install Linux on old Linksys routers to do it.
Right. One time I Googled how to do something like this with my router, and then I closed the tab immediately. I didn't even click through to any of the links.
Installing Linux on routers many times, at least 3 times.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Intense.
Those were the days, man.
I'm gonna stick with cables, man. I'm not buying any of this wireless stuff. I like my cables. Speaking of cables, Dan, how many when you went to the Apple store and said, "All right, I'll take the glossy black iPhone 7 and throw in 8, 9 of the Lightning to headphone adapters,"
I just had
grab
it
the whole
shipped,
shelf,
so I didn't even have to go to any of the Apple stores that I passed by on the way to work. So
any of the number of them?
There are at least 2. Yeah. I only have 1.
And that's all you need?
We'll see. Like, because I pass by them so often, I could just pick one up as soon as I lose it. So we'll see how long it lasts.
Oh, boy. Well, that's exciting. Congratulations. And you got the regular 7, right? You didn't go for the bonus?
Yeah.
The pictures I am seeing people posting off of that camera on the Plus are insane. Like, they look really... Like, people who I follow regularly and saw their old phone and then they got the new phone and took very similar pictures. I'm like, I could tell the difference. It looks crazy good.
Yeah.
I have been considering getting the big one. I don't know. I think I need to see it. I'm pretty sure I did this the last time, too, and I saw it and I was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, as soon as it's in your hand, you're like, now I remember. This is awkward.
What I really want to do is try putting it in my pocket, but I don't want to. I'm afraid to do that at an Apple store.
Mall security.
Oh, that stuff is like tethered to the desk though,
Yeah,
so they know that's
why. True. That's why it's tethered.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I always like the Apple Store. There's still things that the Apple Store does so much better than any other place, and the biggest one I think is those tethers. So the tethers on the stuff at the Apple Store is like a little Apple-esque silver disc that's just attached to the back. It doesn't add that much bulk to it or anything. You go to a Best Buy, you've got this giant white plastic thing glued to the back with this like spirally cable that's ugly as all hell and like turning yellow from age and all this. Ugh. It's shockingly bad. No wonder they made Apple stores. If I was Steve Jobs and I walked into a Best Buy and saw that, I'd be like, that's it, we're making our own stuff.
That's pretty much what happens. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What were the other electronic stores that used to exist?
Oh,
Circuit City.
CompUSA is the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, I would like look through the CompUSA flyer in the Sunday paper every weekend.
We were cool as kids.
Oh yeah.
Okay, don't push it. Don't, come on. Who are you trying to fool? No, I actually just watched a video today on Circuit City. Rest in peace. Along with I don't think CompUSA is still a thing. Fry's Electronics is still a thing.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever have a Babbage's?
No. With a name like Babbage's.
It's got to be terrible. No, they sold computer games very early, kind of like Electronics Boutique. Have you ever had one
that
of those?
one I remember.
Yeah, very similar. Back in the day, back on your MS-DOS machine. God, we're old. These kids today don't know how easy they have it.
I saw an actual person, a new hire at work. So we were talking about what's the first album you ever bought, and they actually said, "What do you mean buy an album?"
Buy an album. Yeah.
Are you sure they weren't saying that like ironically? Like, were they pulling your leg?
No, I don't think they were. This was over IRC.
Oh, so it's unclear.
It's unclear.
But okay, let me ask them. When was the last time either of you bought an album?
Last year. This year. I bought when I really like an album, I buy it, and then I don't do anything with it.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
That's fair.
I buy it on iTunes and continue listening to it on Spotify.
Yeah, maybe we're not the best focus group for what millennials are doing with music listening.
I still like, this was in my time hop, I think, today, and I believe is still true. Even 2 or 3 years ago, Wirecutter had a guide on buying a record player, but does not have a guide on buying a CD player.
Where, can you even buy like just a CD player? Like I guess like a Discman or something?
Oh, you can get like the big home entertainment ones at Best Buy and stuff.
Yeah, but those are... Yeah, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to... Can't buy VCRs anymore. I know that.
Oh, you can't even really buy DVD players anymore. You can buy a Blu-ray DVD player.
Yeah, those are sweet. I like physical media. I still buy CDs. I don't care what anyone says. I like CDs.
You listen to them on... You listen to the CDs?
You know why? And I know exactly why I do and you two don't. And it's because I own a car. Literally the only thing I have that... Well, a car I use.
When I did have a car, though, I never had CDs because I went straight to, like, my car still had a cassette player, so I just got one of the cassette to, like, 1/8-inch jack adapter things, and I just skipped CDs in the car.
Yeah, your car wasn't exactly cutting edge, to be fair.
My car
I think it was
had
cutting edge in
CD
1999. When...
It was cutting edge as in it was cutting itself apart into pieces on the edge.
Yeah. My car had a CD changer in the trunk, and the only way you could change the CDs was by opening up the trunk.
Yeah.
So as a result, I never changed the CDs. And so
that was a good idea.
What was in my car in 2013 was a direct reflection of myself in 2007.
What was in there?
I really there's only one mix CD in there, and the rest I were just off the shelf. And I'm pretty sure at least one of them was a classical CD, possibly even two.
Nice.
I was, again, a huge nerd.
I have bought a lot of greatest hits of 70s rock. Like, I just bought Michael McDonald's greatest hits, so maybe I'm not the guy to talk about what's hip. New. What, you don't know who Michael McDonald is?
But I'm very bad at these things.
No, he's from, he was in the Doobie Brothers, and then he went out on his own, and he did, I'm not going to sing Michael McDonald, even I know better, so you just have to look him up. Kids, ask your parents.
Oh my god, he looks like Guy Fieri.
Yeah, he does. He's awesome. He's great. He says a lot like this on the radio.
Oh, wait, no, you gotta, I'm gonna put this in the chat. Look at this.
What are you... Yeah, that's not really a good photo. He's had a lot of work done.
It looks like...
And he lost some weight.
Sort of... He does look like an old Guy Fieri.
Yeah, this is Guy Fieri in the future.
I was gonna say, but he had it before Guy Fieri, though. Like, he has this... He goes back with it. He was rocking in the 90s, so I'm just...
Did he have the frosted tips, too? Like,
he had white hair, so he was...
I think back then the only thing you could do to frost them was to, like, go into a walk-in freezer and...
Like, literally frost them.
Right.
Yeah, man, things were so hard back then. Glad that's not the case today. Well...
back then when we weren't alive.
I wanna give a shout out because we gotta move on to the news, but I want to give a shout out to those watching live on Facebook. We got a lot of viewers tonight, so thanks everybody for watching. We've got some comments in already. Eric Zeiser says good answer, Dan. I don't know to what, but you gave a good answer. We're not well synced, so I don't know what that was to. But good answer.
Well, I'm glad. Thank you, Eric.
And my sister says, Sean, your music taste is ancient. Thank you, Jess, for that. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I had somebody on Twitter once.
Oh, I bet it was to the music CDs thing.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Someone once told me my music taste makes my parents proud because it's their music, so I'll take it. All right. Well, again, Facebook.com/Don'tPanicShow. If you're watching live, keep commenting. We'll be watching it throughout the show, and we may or may not talk about it on the air. We don't guarantee it, but we certainly try, and we appreciate you doing that as always. All right, guys. Unless there's any more banter, we've got some tech news to talk about. We got a few stories here in the rundown. We're on a short week, but I think we got some stuff in here worth discussing. Anything in here grabbing your attention? Don't all jump at once.
Google event? Google rumors?
Google?
Apple-esque Google rumors?
Google. Well, the funny thing is they're not really rumors because, as usual with Google, every single thing they're basically going to announce has been leaked in full HD quality. I mean, it's almost as if it's a complete opposite of Apple, where they just don't...
They just don't care.
They just completely give it up on just... It's leaked by 10 or 20 places. It's insane. So, yeah, we basically know what they're going to announce. Would you like to know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will tell you. The big thing is the phone, the Pixel phone. So you may know Nexus, right? They made the Nexus phones historically where they would take a partner like HTC or LG, and they would take one of their phones, slap Nexus on it, put stock Android, and call it their phone. That's not the case anymore. Google's going to be making this phone. Well, actually, HTC is probably building it. But it's not going to say HTC, and it's not going to say Nexus on it. Instead, it is the Google Pixel phone. The tagline, phone by Google. It is all about Google. Everything about these phones isn't surprising. Two versions, a bigger one and a smaller one, the Pixel XL. It's going to have a blazing fast processor, 4 gigabytes of RAM, a quad HD display on the big one, 12 megapixel cameras, fingerprint scanners, large battery. The latest version, Android 7.1 Nougat, will come with it. What they call a premium design, fingerprint scanner on the back. The interesting thing is that it's actually going to be more expensive. So historically, the Nexus phones have been a little cheaper, right? They've kind of been that $99, $199, $299. No, we're going for Apple prices here. We're talking $649. We're talking premium. They're heading right for that Amazon, Samsung, Apple, Samsung sweet spot. I'm sorry. It's too many tech companies. I can't keep track. Nobody wants the Amazon phone. So yeah. So that'll be the big part of the announcement. They also believe it'll come with the, if you remember the what were they called? The cases that could do stuff because they connected to the phone. Like you could get a bonus camera and you could get like a more storage and you could, in the cases, they'll have that too. Now, it's not the only thing they're announcing.
So, but real quick, does this phone not look like shockingly like an iPhone. That was the first thing I noticed. But this is the first one that I've seen that's like the white border. A lot of the other Android phones don't have the white border. I think that's what's really tipping me off.
True.
I don't know. It's not a big deal.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I'm curious if it'll come in... I'm just thinking I'm curious if it comes in multiple colors.
I think I saw somewhere that it did come in black also.
Which would make sense. I can put up on the screen here some of the... Yeah, it does come in black. I've got a screen grab here of it in black as well.
I see. So do y'all think this is like the new Nexus? Like, I've always gotten the impression that no one buys Nexus phones, like, except for nerds, right? Like, they're not, as far as I can tell, they're not really advertised. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a commercial on TV for a Nexus phone. So, like, do you think this is, like, this Pixel phone will be like that? It's just like Google's phone that they don't advertise? Or do you think they're, like, gonna legitimately try and get people to buy this?
So what's interesting to me is we've talked about it on the show more times than I can count, that Google is not a great hardware company. They really struggle there. They've had few successes. I think Chromecast is maybe the exception, not the rule. And it's interesting to me that their strategy is going after that more expensive phone, premium phones, you know, comparing it side by side with an iPhone or a Galaxy. And on Google's side, I think they are going to put a lot. I think this is their make or break phone. Like, they've kind of half-assed Nexus for so long. You're right. Sometimes it was for nerds. Sometimes it was because it was cheap. Sometimes they try to say it was a great phone and that people should buy it just because it's a great phone. They never quite figured out their direction there. I think that's why they're ditching the brand, to be honest. I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
And so I do believe that there will be... They've hyped this event more than they hyped the Nexus phone as a whole. So I really think that there's going to be effort. Now, on the consumer side, are people going to buy it as a legitimate contender against Samsung or Apple? Yes. I'm going to surprise you. Yes, I actually think they will, and here is why. Samsung's reputation is tarnished because their phones fucking explode, and that's bad. Turns out consumers don't like when their phones explode. And I think if there was ever a time, Google has great name recognition.
Well, in fairness to Samsung, this was probably just an A/B test where they're like, I wonder if consumers like it when their phones explode.
I think they got the answer they were looking for. They don't. And so I think that people who, for whatever reason, either like Android or don't want an iPhone and are willing to pay the Samsung price, I think are going to take a second look. And I think if Google can market this well enough and get it in stores and get it in front of people, I think now is the perfect time for there to be another, because really it's Samsung or Apple. I mean, you can talk about LG or HTC, but let's be honest, that's it. And I think now is the perfect time for Google to swoop in. If you had asked me 6 months ago, I would have said, I don't know. Now, maybe.
Interesting.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a fair point about the like the timing. I don't think that could have been planned. I feel like that was a total accident, but
or was it?
Right. Or the well, we don't need to get into any conspiracy theories. I think I feel like it makes sense for them to try harder. Like, I feel like the Nexus, like you said, the Nexus didn't know what it was. They didn't know what they wanted it to be. And at some point, like, does it even make sense for them to keep doing this? Like, I don't know. I don't know if it does. Unclear.
Can we talk about, linked in this Verge article, this GIF of Bill Belichick throwing his poor Microsoft Surface on the ground?
Get it right. They pay a lot of money for that. Don't mess it up.
So I will say, I watched this. I was watching this live on TV, and it was the first time that I heard the announcers refer to one of the Microsoft Surfaces not as an iPad. To be fair, they didn't call it a Microsoft Surface. They just called it a tablet.
A tablet. I heard that.
But they didn't say iPad, which is really, like, Microsoft has been working for like 6 years to get that
Oh, I'm sure, because I remember the first year they were around, and you're right, everyone called them iPads, and I guarantee there was a memo from the office, from the league headquarters to all the announcers. They are not iPads. And to be fair, I do hear, in this case, you're right, they did call it a tablet. I do hear a lot of them specifically say the Microsoft Surface tablets.
Yeah.
They get paid. They get their money. So, yes, that was quite funny to watch. It's like when Aaron Rodgers punched his. I love when they beat up the tablets. It's good product placement because you're like, oh, the Surface can take a beating from Bill Belichick of all people.
Did it still work after that?
Oh,
well, that's the question.
They got him in those like rubber cases, maybe.
Well, yeah, but he threw it at the corner of that box as like a tomahawk.
But see, if
that's the worst possible way it could land.
If I were Microsoft, I'd be trying to track down that tablet and be like, if it worked, man, pay Belichick some money, get him in a commercial, and be like, hi, I'm the NFL's Bill Belichick, and I tried to break this tablet, and damn it, I couldn't.
Wait, why is he wearing a hoodie? What happened?
I don't know.
That's probably
no
why
wonder they lost.
Yeah.
Right.
He can't have the full sleeves. What a mistake. His arms couldn't breathe.
Yeah. I can't stop watching this. It's mesmerizing. I guess it's good that it landed on that like mat they have for tackling people into.
Well, good thing it didn't land on like, an assistant coach or something. That could have been much worse. That would hurt.
I have that problem at work a lot. Like someone will put a GIF to Slack.
Up your you're just chucking at someone.
No, a different the mesmerizing gift problem. No, we actually have stress tablets around the office, so like
that you can chuck at the wall.
You can just grab a Microsoft Surface and fling it at the wall.
See, I was assuming they were all Apple Store style tethered down, so you go to pull it.
Like starting a lawnmower?
Yeah, yes, exactly. It's a good stress reliever. Yeah, football. Jeez. Yeah, so the Pixel phone. I don't know if anyone's going to care, to be honest. I think worst case scenario, no one cares. I don't know if that's going to be the most likely outcome.
Have any of the Nexus phones ever been like in a store? Like, could you go to Verizon? Oh, okay.
Some of the later ones were, yeah. But you're right. They made it kind of hard.
They definitely were.
What?
Early on, you could only get them on the store.
No, but you're right. But early on, they were like developer phones. I mean, really, the last 2 or 3, they really kind of pushed more towards consumers, and they were in stores. And the problem is, I don't know what the problem is. There was some problem. They weren't getting sold through to consumers. I could speculate, but they just, these days, I used to be of the belief that most people bought their phones because someone at a store told them to buy it. And I don't feel that's really the case anymore. And I don't know why people buy the phones they do. Is it OS lock-in? Is it because they go to a store and buy it? Is it because of price? Why do people pick the phones they pick?
Do you think people like just get the next version of the phone they have?
I mean, maybe. I can't recall off the top of my head the last time I saw numbers of people who leave one OS to the other. They like to claim they steal from each other, but
that's true.
I can't. Thinking about people I know, since Samsung has become the dominant Android phone, no one I know who had a Samsung and has stayed with Android has switched away from a Samsung. I also only can think of one person besides myself who's switched from Android to an iPhone, except Colby. But he switched. He went there and back again. Colby story.
There and back again. Yes, that's true. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, well, no, I was just gonna say. I mean, you're right, Dan. I agree with you. I don't know many people who have switched after being at least 2 phones in on a single OS or manufacturer. But I do know actually more than one coworker, our work phones are iOS. And I know some people who had Samsung as their personal phone, got an iOS work phone, and then ended up switching their personal phone to iOS. So I think it happens, but I think you're right. I think unless they're given a reason to switch, and Apple doesn't ever give anyone a reason to switch, I don't think. They don't do anything wrong. They don't really give you something worse or a reason not to. So that's why I'm interested if this has any lasting effect on them.
And he's gone.
Good. The show just got 30%
I pressed the wrong button.
Oh, sorry. Hey, Dan, you didn't hear that.
Oh, that was user error that time. That's like the same thing that's happened before, but it was.
Here we are blaming Skype. Not very nice of us. Yeah, so I don't. Yeah, I don't know if people are going to really be. I wonder what percentage of consumers are neither Samsung nor Apple, and I wonder how many of them. I mean, there's still a few percentage points out there on Windows Phone, and there's like 3 guys on Blackberry, and I wonder if Google can get those people.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. But we're going to find out because the event is this week, even though we already know what they're going to announce.
Hurrah. What else are they talking about?
What else are they going to... So they're definitely announcing the Pixel phone. Like, we know that. The rest of this is likely, but still up in the air. Remember Google Home? We talked about this during the I.O. conference when they came out with their little home speaker, like Echo. Like Amazon's Echo, where it'd have Google Now, and you could talk to it.
Real quick, as of a year ago, Amazon had a little less than 40% of Android phones.
Wait, who?
Samsung had a little... All Android phones a year ago, almost 40% of them were Samsung phones.
That's a lot of margin left.
And the next biggest was LG. Oh, here. All right, let's do this. Who is the next biggest? I may have just given it away.
Well, okay, is this worldwide or U.S.?
I think worldwide.
If it's worldwide, is it Huawei?
No.
Is it LG?
Yeah.
It's LG.
Yeah.
All those LG phones.
Yeah, what, Huawei or HTC or
No.
Sony?
Sony's third.
They're still big international, sure.
And Sony and Motorola are almost tied.
Yep.
Then it's Lenovo, and then Huawei.
Yeah.
And Asus, and then HTC.
It's kind of funny. You can see how dated those are because, of course, Motorola doesn't exist anymore. They're now with Lenovo. And I know Huawei.
Well, right, but they count the... So both Motorola and
exists.
Lenovo are on here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I guess then that might move Motorola up into third.
That's a lot of market left. I don't know. If Google can really hammer the advertising and get this in people's minds that if you're an Android user, this is... I don't think they're going to steal from iOS, but I think if they could steal from Android users, they just got to hammer it in people's... I'm talking Super Bowl commercials. I'm talking billboards. I'm talking... they got to be everywhere with this thing if they want it to succeed. That's what... Samsung, to be honest, I would argue over the last 2-3 years has had awesome advertising campaigns. I mean, they used to kind of suck, and I think they've gotten a lot better. Yeah. So... I'm curious if Google has that in them to make people want these phones.
Anyways, that was fun.
Yes, Google Home. Supposedly, Android Police claiming it'll sell for $129, which is $50 less than Amazon's Echo. We don't have an exact date to when it will be available, but we expect it to be prior to the Christmas shopping season.
And Amazon Echo is how much?
Amazon Echo, if you buy it at full price, is $180, though if you kind of wait for it to go on sale, you can get it for as low as $150.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a lot more than I would have thought.
Yeah, it's not cheap, and there's... I would agree with you.
So, like, Apple's competitor to this is $200, which is only $20 more, and it plays videos and stuff.
Yeah, it does a lot more. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so what does Google Home purport to do?
Well, Google Home, it's essentially Google Now on the speaker. It doesn't really, it does all the same, plays music, does commands, smart home stuff, basically all the same stuff Echo does. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. The big bonus is that it'll do Chromecast. So, you know how you can do like the whole home audio with Chromecast and that kind of stuff. So it'll integrate with that. And it'll have some LED lights in it that change color. But other than that, it's basically the same thing.
Cool.
So, look forward.
More people talking to things.
More
saying things out loud.
The other day, I kid you not, I was talking to Alexa, my buddy, in the speaker, and I was like, Alexa, turn off the bedroom light or something, and then she goes, okay, and then she does it, and I go, thank you, Alexa, and then she goes, you're welcome. I'm like, oh my god, this is getting creepy. This is not normal. I need some friends. Okay, also being announced, potentially at this event, in addition to the schmancy home speaker, is Chromecast Ultra. the Android police again claiming for $69 you'll get a fancy Chromecast that has 4K and HDR support. Oh, excuse me.
You're excused.
I don't know what content you can possibly play on a 4K Chromecast, but you can buy one, so, good luck with that.
Yeah. I guess if you have sufficient internets, you could do stuff on Netflix, right?
Netflix does a little bit, but they'd have to support it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think 4K Roku has Netflix.
Does anyone here have a 4K TV? I don't have a 4K TV. No,
I don't know anybody who does even. I don't
either.
But the prices are coming down.
I know someone who does.
Pretty soon you'll be able to. But I wonder what kind of bandwidth you need. And by the way, it's different for me because I also have cable. It's unlimited for me. But if I just got internet, I'd have data caps here.
What?
On my AT&T Uverse. Now, of course, because I get cable with it as a bundle, it's unlimited. But if I didn't, if I got just the internet, which I was considering doing, there's data cap.
That's
which to me, I actually, they have that little counter that tells you how much you use, and actually, I think it's pretty inaccurate. I was looking at it, and they're like, one day I uploaded 30 gigabytes of stuff, and I'm like, no, I didn't. But even outside of that, I just wonder how much once we get into 4K content, what kind of bandwidth we're talking about.
You need 25 megabits per second according to Netflix, which just for your own estimation is 5 times what they recommend for 1080p, which is 5 megabits per second.
You're gonna blow through that, man. Are you kidding me? Damn.
Damn.
I'm not even gonna want that. That sucks. But not the Chromecast Ultra. That doesn't suck. You can buy that.
Speaking of the person I know who has a 4K TV, who is Mike, when are we doing our wrap-up of the summer movie draft? Are we ever going to get together and trash talk each other ahead of...
I wasn't planning on it because I assumed I already eat up enough of your time, but we can certainly, absolutely, are you kidding me? If you guys want to do it, I'm game. Again, I won, so I'm going to be doing all the trash talking. So.
I would love to hear who watched what movies.
Yeah. All right, well then we'll put some on the calendar in the next week or two.
Okay.
Deal.
Nice.
Good point. And allowing me to slip in again that I did win, so...
You're going to have a much harder time next year because now we actually understand.
Well, next year if we get enough people, I'm not going to play. Because I wasn't supposed to play this year, and we didn't get enough people. Yeah. So next
Sean
year...
just wants to remain undefeated. While he's ahead.
Colby gets it. No, I am the commissioner. I am impartial. So we also have, as I mentioned, Google Wi-Fi, so that kind of mesh router potentially coming as well. $129 for each unit, and you can get a bunch of them and put them all over your home, and then they connect to each other. But that's basically kind of all we know about that. So yeah, there you go. Those are your most likely things to be announced at the Pixel event. It is October 4th, which is tomorrow. If there's anything other than that, we will talk about it next week on this program.
So the next story I want to talk about before we go is this Amazon, the Amazon reviews thing.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
And actually,
I didn't realize how interesting this was until I read the full headline.
I've got quite a rant about the Amazon reviews in general. But before we get to that, let's talk about this. Amazon updated its community guidelines today to prohibit incentivized reviews, which is where you as a customer are sent a free or discounted product in exchange for a review. Now, Amazon says it's only a fraction of most reviews, but studies have found that those free or discounted items incentivize reviewers to give positive feedback, and that the same individuals review a lot of products, which could affect sales performance. Now, Amazon does still have and will continue to have what is known as their Vine program, and you might see this if you're an Amazon shopper, this sort of little green Vine icon next to some reviews, which Amazon set up in 2007. That is where Amazon actually is a middleman for retailers, so a retailer won't reach out to you as an Amazon customer, but they will via Amazon, and Amazon will say, hey, Colby, we know you like Cheese Whiz, so and the Cheese Whiz people want to send you some free Cheese Whiz, and in exchange, they want your unbiased and totally fair review on their Cheese Whiz product.
Colby, did you just shake your head and then say, actually, no, give me the Cheese Whiz? Was that what that gesture was?
Oh, yeah, no, bring on the Cheese Whiz. I love Cheese Whiz.
But do you think...
disgusting in the best way possible.
If you get it for free, can you give an unbiased and totally fair review? That is the question.
Yes, with Cheese Whiz, I think I certainly can.
And so so there you go. One interesting note is that books are exempt from the Vine program and will continue to be, only because Amazon does not want to prohibit the industry standard of sending out advanced review copies of new novels and nonfiction. So they actually do want people to read them before they review them as well. So there you go. What bothers you about this, Dan?
Oh, nothing bothers me about it. This seems like, how are they going to enforce it is my question. But I'm surprised that they did it. I don't think anyone was like looking at Amazon reviews and being like, this isn't exactly held to the highest standard of journalism. You were thinking that? I'm looking around at like your gummy bear reviews and being like, I don't know if Johnny Buttface over here should be reviewing these.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I have a really serious problem with over the last year. I genuinely believe that on the whole, Amazon reviews have gotten really shitty and have started to become useless. And
but don't the shitty ones not get upvoted?
No, but that's the problem. They do get upvoted because, well, okay, there are multiple problems with Amazon reviews. You ready for this? One, they don't get rid of old reviews. So a lot of times the ones that are upvoted are either products that used to suck and got better or products that used to be good and now suck. And it's like you read a review and you get in it sucks. You're like, oh, that was from 3 years ago. And turns out that, that's happened to me before. And that really bugs me. I don't know why they keep those around. There's no way they're still, maybe a year or two, but somewhere like 5 years old. It doesn't make sense. A good example was I looked into dryer balls. Are you familiar with dryer balls?
Maybe.
They were recommended to me. And they're these like little, you can get them in plastic or in wool or in different materials, but they're balls, and you like little like half mini tennis balls, and you put them in your dryer, and they beat your clothes, and it's like supposed to soften your clothes and pick up lint, and someone told me they swear by them, so I said, okay, I'm gonna go on Amazon and look. And there were these reviews where it had gotten a bunch of crappy reviews, and then all of a sudden at a point in time they just started getting all these positive reviews. And the positive reviews were not written like a human being would write a review. It was like a novel that was very clearly written ahead of time. That was clearly somebody was either buying reviews or I don't know what it was. And then they were trashing other products on Amazon. It was like so weird, but I'm like, for dryer balls of all things, it was like a no-name manufacturer. It was very weird. I don't like these games. Like, that's why I like the Wirecutter and the Sweet Home. They don't screw around. It really genuinely bugs me when they play fast and loose with these reviews and they try and sync their competitors and they pay people to do stuff. And this is one example where, I understand the Vine program they do because it's a little more neutral. I still don't necessarily agree with it, but at least they're flagged, right? You get the little Vine logo and you say, look, I can say this person got their free product, so I, as a consumer, can make the judgment whether or not I trust them to give a fair review. But for people who are doing it outside the system, you have no way of knowing where these reviews come from. So I really am relying less and less and less on Amazon reviews because I just don't think they work anymore. Because people are dicks on the internet. There. Rant over.
Okay, that's interesting because I never relied on them.
Oh, so so it's my mistake.
I don't think I generally I don't. Like, generally I turn to the Wirecutter or something, or the Sweet Home for like, what should I buy right now? Or it's something that like, I don't necessarily care about the reviews for. I'm going to buy it anyways. Right. Like, I don't know, like a game or something. If I'm going to buy a game, I probably read about it somewhere else. Like, or watch an actual review by an actual journalist, on like IGN or something like that. But I will say I have purchased things that are like more like Christmas gifts or things where it's like there's not a Wirecutter article on this like weirdly specific thing that you're trying to buy, and then it's like, I don't know what. I read the Amazon reviews and found them to be like, this is not helpful. Mm-hmm. And it's not helpful on any of the other products too. So that's a weird thing. But now, so do you think Do you think the like verified buyer stuff they do helps at all with any of this?
Sure.
Like,
yeah, absolutely. And I think for like super mainstream products, you've got a better shot. Like if you're buying a coffee maker, like just a regular 12-cup coffee maker, you're probably going to get okay reviews and an okay mix. Again, you really got to watch out for like dated ones and stuff. But if you know how to read them, you're okay. But it's when you get those really, like you mentioned, like really specific or really like like products people don't purchase often. Like if I'm buying trash bags, I'm going to trust the reviews because I don't think anyone's really going to take the time to do a bias review on trash bags. But on really specific products, absolutely, I do. I think I don't. I'm just still worried about it. I think that's where you're, and those are the companies who have a lot of incentive to do sketchy stuff with their reviews. Like, you know, Mr. Coffee knows people are going to probably buy their coffee maker, and it's got 4.5 stars because it's a perfectly competent coffee maker. They're not really worried about it. But it's these little companies that fight each other.
Yeah, for things that aren't like high volume necessarily.
Right.
Sigh.
Yeah.
It does sound like a hard problem.
Well, I don't expect them to solve it. I just expect them to be honest about it. That's the only thing. Like, I want... It's sort of this, you know, we talk a lot about what's Twitter doing about harassment, right? I think we've talked about this before, that, you know, Twitter doesn't really have good systems in place to deal with reporting people and flagging things for review, and they've run to a lot of, like, Amazon... Reviews are a giant part of what Amazon is. Like, I would say that's a core feature of Amazon. And I don't feel that they've kind of let it slide for a long time. I don't feel they have the processes in place to weed out bad reviews and to get rid of old reviews and to make sure the reviews actually match the product, by the way, which is another big problem, is that they'll review a different variation on the product and it doesn't apply. And, you know, there's got to be better systems in place so these things actually count and mean something.
Yeah. This actually reminds me of one of the podcasts I listened to, Reply All, has done a couple episodes on like internet fraud specifically related to Google ads. And how I think the thing they started with was there was this website that claimed to be like a lost and found website for cabs in New York, but it's not affiliated with any of the cab companies, and they like just charge you $50. And they're the first link in Google when you search like NYC, like lost my phone, NYC taxi, what do I do? They're the first link in Google, and they would just charge you $50 to not do anything.
Yep.
And so it was about all kinds of that stuff. And like they talked to people at Google, or rather maybe it was people who used to work at Google in that like the division that like deals with that stuff. It was pretty interesting and also terrifying.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's listen, fraud on the internet, very hard to deal with, turns out.
Yeah.
And, excuse me, I credit Amazon with at least starting somewhere, right? I think this is a good first step. I'm surprised this wasn't against their community guidelines, frankly.
Seems obvious.
So I'm glad that they're taking steps, but I want to continue to see improvements.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, it's not like I'm going to stop shopping there or anything. So I don't know what incentive they have to do that, because it's still going to buy. The other day I ordered. That's why I trash bags. I ordered trash bags by voice over Alexa the other day. I mean, they have me. I'm a customer. They're like, I use my dash button to order Tide laundry pods, so they've got me. Like I'm in. So nice. Bad reviews be damned.
Indeed.
All right. Well, guys, I think we're out of time for news, unless there was really something you wanted to get to. But I know we've got some good picks.
Yeah, let's do it.
Nothing to it but to do it. That's what they say. And today, we are going to start with me.
You?
Because we never start with me. We always start with you guys.
That's fine.
I want to go first. Who here likes physically printed photos? Raise your hand. No? Nobody? Dan does. All right. See, Dan's
I do.
It's great.
I guess occasionally. I do like having pictures on the wall, so physically printed photos are pretty useful for that.
No, and I think it's just a different experience. So here's I promise, very quick story. But I have a grandmother. Her name is Flo, and these two guys both, she literally the other day asked, and make sure you say hi to Colby and all your friends for me. Tell them I'm thinking of them. I said, okay, Flo, I will. Still doing the things with them? Yeah, we're still doing the thing. And so she does not have a computer. She doesn't even have a DVD player. So she has an answering machine. She does not have technology. And I moved to Texas, and it's hard because she's very far away, and that makes her sad. And so I say, you know, Flo, how can we make you more excited about me being here? And I want to send her some pictures. I was in the Netherlands for a while, some pictures from that, pictures of my apartment, which obviously, you know, she's too afraid to get on a plane, so she'll probably never get around to actually seeing. And I said, how can we do this? Physically printed photos are a great way to do that. Never mind the fact that they're also nice to display. So I went online to find a website, because obviously you don't develop film anymore. Someone's got to print these digital photos I have. Adorama Pix, ADORAMAPIX is the site. The link is on going to be on our website, don'tpanic.io, if you can't exactly spell that. There are a lot of companies that'll print you photos. A lot of people who've used like Snapfish and some of the cheaper sites have told me that the quality is not great. And honestly, I don't find Adorama that like much more crazy expensive, but the print quality is actually really good. They quote you about, you know, 25, 27 cents a print for like a 4x6, and then, you know, pay a little bit of shipping on top of it. But the quality is really good. Dan knows these guys. They're based in New York City. I think they do a really good job. I've never done any kind of larger prints or any of their fancier stuff, but if you just need a couple copies of a photo or something blown up, I would definitely check these guys out. I think they're really good. AdoramaPix.com is their website.
Yep, I've used them before. For my brief stint with my Etsy shop, they were my print partner.
You had an Etsy shop?
Yeah.
How do I not know this story? What did you sell in your Etsy shop?
Well, pictures, because that was all I really had to sell. Yeah, they basically made all the engineers at Etsy open an Etsy shop.
That makes sense.
As a lesson, as an exercise in empathy, and it was eye-opening.
But it's closed now. You can't.
No, it's still open, but recently I have totally fucked up my listings by using them as test data.
Now I'm really tempted to order something to see if I ever actually get it.
Currently, one of my listings is the occasion is divorce, the holidays independence, the color is gray, among other
That's
BS.
so sad.
It's a picture, but I listed it as a craft supply. Like, yeah. So yeah, someone today, we were looking at this form and someone was like, it's kind of messed up that you can list an item as both being for April Fool's Day and a baby shower.
Oh, that is funny. I'm going to have to buy some of your stuff, Dan. All right, good. Well, there you go. That's my pick. Let's go to Colby now. Colby, you've got... we always have a lot of media to watch. Colby, you've got something more for us to watch. What are we checking out this time?
So my pick is called The Great British Baking Show. It's a show on, well, it's from as the name suggests, it's a British show. I think it ends up being on PBS eventually. You can also like find it online and stuff. But it's basically a cooking show, but not an American cooking show. It's not like that what's that guy's name? It's not like Gordon Ramsay screaming at people. It's like I guess the contest is like, it's like amateur bakers. So they start with like 16 bakers or something, and they all like compete in like making things every weekend. And they judge them, and it's very like British, and they're all like super friendly to each other, which is bizarre if you've ever watched any other like American reality shows. But it's just kind of fun to watch, and the things they make all look really tasty. So I like it. People like it. It's like a very interesting, like, I guess, cultural difference. It's like interesting to watch simply for that, even if you're not interested in baking, to see what this, like, I don't know, another form that a reality TV show could take.
Very cool. Yeah, this has been blowing up my Twitter, and I haven't watched it, but everyone's buzzing about how great it is. It's a shame they're not going to make any more of them. They're done with the show, so get the episodes that are there and enjoy them. Great British baking program. as they call them there. Okay, very good. Dan, you've got yet more for us to watch. This one, I would argue, is quite different from the Great British Baking Show. Or would you say these programs have a lot in common?
No, they don't have anything in common.
Nothing at all.
So I have had this hankering for, maybe not. So, okay, I heard about this TV show called Westworld. Let me start over. And it's billed as Game of Thrones-esque, but kind of sci-fi, but pretty weird. So on one hand, I was like, do I really want another Game of Thrones-esque thing in my life? And I wasn't sure. But at the same time, I do really like Game of Thrones. Like, there's no getting around that, so I probably do really want something like that in my life. So I had some time last night. I watched the premiere of Westworld, which is apparently a reboot of an old movie, which I have never seen. And it is quite good. It is so far just in episode 1. It's not as emotionally draining as Game of Thrones, but the setting is very interesting. Like the premise, which I don't know how much you want me to get into the premise, but it asks a lot of philosophical questions about what is reality, and I think it's probably offering critique on video games and, how do you experience the world when you know things are fake. So the first episode was really, really, really good. All the reviews online say it agree with me, so if you have HBO Now and you're bored, check out the first episode of Westworld.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I just let my HBO lapse last week, and I regret that immediately.
Bummer.
Problem is, I never watch it when I have it, and then as soon as I don't have it, I want to watch it. But yeah, I'm actually... the problem is I usually let shows like this, like Game of Thrones, I let them pass me by. Because I'm not... I'm just... don't want another thing to watch, and I've got to get one of these at the beginning. Like Mr. Robot, I've already missed. It's already... that train has gone through the station. It's gone, and I know if I get more than like 4 episodes in, I'm never gonna start it. I'm not gonna do it. So I got to get in day 1 on Westworld, or else it's.
Oh, then you'll never watch it?
I'm just not a big for hour-long, really complex dramas. I cannot binge them. I have ADD or something. I cannot. There's the list of shows I've begun and haven't finished is.
Have you watched Stranger Things?
No, I haven't.
It's so bingeable.
I still haven't finished. I mean, House of Cards, Daredevil, Breaking Bad. The
House of Cards and Breaking Bad, I can see not being bingeable, but Stranger Things is just solid fun.
I just don't.
So I'm actually. I was debating whether or not I wanted to watch this, but if it has a Dan seal of approval, I'll give it a try. But I kind of prefer to be able to watch something, not binge something. Like, I'm kind of looking forward to that because, like, I just can't help myself. Like, once I start watching something that has a whole season, I'm gonna watch the whole season pretty much as fast as I can, unless there's something that keeps me from watching it. So. With Stranger Things, I was watching it with Jill, and she wouldn't sit down and watch the whole thing like at night. So like we did 1 episode a day for like, a week and a half or whatever, which in a certain perspective is still binging, but it's not like completely unproductive binging. And in contrast, like I just watched the entirety of Luke Cage this weekend. For like no reason. There was no reason I needed to do that.
There were like 13 of them.
Yeah, I watched them all.
That's awesome.
Or not this weekend. I started whenever it came out. I started, and I finished it last night.
Damn.
So, like, not super. Like, I never feel good about it. And like, if the TV's on, like, I don't even want the TV to be on. I just leave it on. But I'm like trying to do other things and like not getting anything done because the TV's on, but also not really paying attention to the TV because I'm doing other things. It feels weird, so I'm gonna try watching this now and maybe.
I will say that I think that Westworld so far has been less emotionally draining, but it's still there are some scenes of extreme violence. So
It's not TV, it's HBO.
And also the nudity is gratuitous. It's just like, oh my, it's even worse than Game of Thrones.
No.
That was oh yeah, because when all the characters are robots, you can get away with a lot more of them just literally standing in a room. So, yeah.
Kind of excited.
Gotcha.
Get ready for that.
Now I gotta get HBO. Damn it. Just when you think you've gotten rid of it, and it's back.
This was their plan, Sean.
You know why do they have to keep making compelling television? Darn them. By the way, did you guys see the trailer for Passengers? Which is the hot new sci-fi business coming out this winter, which is with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence on the space station. Yeah, it's a movie. This is like the big movie everyone's talking. This is the big new hotness this winter. Okay, I guess not.
Passenger music? No, I haven't seen it. I'm gonna watch it right now.
Yeah, well, no, you don't. We're doing a show right now. I don't know, but no, it looks like an interesting movie, and they've been hyping it for a little while now, so we'll see. But anyway, that's just an aside. All right, well, we've hit an hour, which means we can go for another hour. But I also think many
we have to either stop now or go for another hour.
That's it.
If we don't stop now, I can't watch Westworld.
That's true, and I can't get some much needed sleep. So we're gonna end it, and I think that's only fair to you, the folks at home. Thank you for joining us as always here on Don't Panic. Some things you need to know before we send you off into the Wild West. That would be we do the show live Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. On our website, not on our website, on Facebook, facebook.com/Don't Panic Show. You can go there, chat with us live during the show. We love when you do. We've had a lot of viewers the last couple of weeks, including tonight, and your feedback is included and welcome. Of course, if you can't join us live, all the episodes, audio, video, past, present, and future on our website, don'tpanic.io, built by these two brilliant gentlemen. You can go there and get the picks every week. The links are on the site. And as well as information on where to follow us, including on most major podcasting services like iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Of course, you can watch the video on YouTube, youtube.com/Don'tPanicShow, and subscribe to most major podcast apps. Lastly, at Don't Panic Show on Twitter. We tweet when we go live and when new episodes are published. And lastly, don'tpanicshow@gmail.com for your feedback. I think that's just about it for this week. We appreciate you being here. We will be back next Monday with Google's event. There's also another big event. Another company is doing an announcement next week, or this week. Who is it? Darn it. Somebody's doing... Well, it's this time of year. It's all the pre-Christmas stuff. Who's doing an announcement? Is it... I can't think of who it is. Oh, Microsoft has an event coming up. No, that's not this week, though. Anyway, there'll be more... There's always more stuff. We've managed to do this every week, so I don't know why next week would be any different. So we hope you'll join us then. But until then, on behalf of Colby, Nan, this is Sean, thanking you for joining us. And we'll see you next time for even more exciting tech news on Don't Panic.